Good morning, everyone. Now the session is on pharmaceutical versus nutraceutical, and the speaker is Miss Isabella Warberger from Canada. She'll be giving more information on this pharmaceutical and nutraceuticals. Madam, please.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Isabella, and by trade, I'm a veterinarian. I also was a surgeon for soft tissue and orthopedic surgery, and I'm very passionate about animals. I'm volunteering in a lot of sanctuaries and shelters. I also give my time to people that want advice for animals, dogs, cats, and horses, and I'm giving them advice for free for practically 24/7. So during my studies, I also I opened a clinic, and after I was working for approximately 10, 12 years as a surgeon in a referral clinic, I decided to go and do my PhD. I finished my PhD in immunology and genetics, and I decided to start developing products for animals. So I'm actually working with human companies, and I'm redeveloping the human products to the animal world. And the reason I'm doing that is because the animal world is lacking of technology. They're lacking of products. And the human world, we all know that have a lot of technology, a lot of money, and a lot of products. So something that is very close to me is pharmaceutical and nutraceutical. It's because I'm dealing with it. I know the disadvantages and advantages of the products, and I'm going to talk the difference between them. Next slide, please. So the medical approach is, and it doesn't matter if it's a pharmaceutical or a nutraceutical, the medical approach is something is going with my body and I need it. It's like I'm hungry and you go and eat. And that's what the medical professions are telling us, medical or naturopaths, we need something to make us better. So the way the drugs work, and when I'm saying drugs, I'm talking about pharma drugs and also nutri drugs, the natural products as well. So the way they're working, they're actually mimicking the real systematic appearance that we need in our body. So, but because they're still chemicals, they cannot mimic it 100% because they're chemicals. So what's going to happen is the twist of the chemical procedure is the twist that is giving us the adverse events when we are using pharmaceutical products. Next slide, please. So what's happening with pharmaceutical products, any drug that we take, it doesn't matter if it's going and it's treating our intestine, it's treating our brain, it's treating our skin, any drug is going by metabolic process. But however, it's not affecting the metabolic process, but it's still going through a metabolic process. Next slide, please. The drug discovery is a very gigantic, it's a huge, I don't want to say it because then I will have some controversial here, but it's a huge market. But it's a huge market not because of the pharma companies. It's a huge market because of the government. The government are controlling the pharma companies, not the pharma companies are controlling the market. The government is telling the companies, that's what I want to do, that's how much you're going to sell, that's how much it's going to price, and this is going to be your label. So I know that the pharma companies are dealing with a lot of scrutinizing that it's their fault, but it's actually the government's fault more than the pharmaceutical fault, because the same is happening with the nutraceutical companies. The government is telling them, that's what we want in the label, even though the label is not complete. So with the drugs, there are several classifications. There are the natural origin, like herbal, plants, anything that's going like 100% natural substances. Of course, drugs that are coming from chemicals and as well as natural products. It's kind of like a combination. And the combination, it's more of the nutraceutical. The first one, that is a herbal and a 100% natural, it's the vegan. But the nutraceutical, a lot of times, are pharma together with natural products. We also have medications that are derived from animal origin, like enzymes and hormones, and of course, drugs that are derived from microbial origin, like antibiotics. Now, many times the classification is between small molecules of drugs. So it's actually a chemical synthesis. So when we have a chemical synthesis, it can be like recombinant proteins, blood products, but the most common right now is the stem cell research and the stem cell products. However, talking about a stem cell, it's not necessarily embryonic cells. Right now, we have a lot of procedures that we are using adipose tissue cells. And while I was in practice, I was working in a company and I had a patent that I was in charge of, in all Canada, for animals, treatment of stem cell treatment from adipose tissue. When I'm saying adipose tissue, that means the skin and the fat of the skin. So it's not invasive, and it's not painful, and the animal doesn't need to go under. When I'm saying under, it's anesthesia, and it works. So we don't need to use embryonic cells. And the same, I'm sure that the same is going for humans, but they didn't start it yet. It was kind of like my initiative to start it with animals. Again, passionate about animals, so I wanted to help the horses and the dogs. Next slide. Now, nutraceuticals. Nutraceuticals are kind of like natural products. So when they are derived from food, and they are vegan products. If they are derived from food and plants, 100% vegan products. But like I mentioned before, a lot of nutraceutical products are also combination of chemicals and natural products. But people are not familiar with that when they are taking. They are thinking, oh, this is a nutraceutical, and it means that it's 100% natural, but it's actually not. It's not 100% natural. So even though with the nutraceutical it's a little bit easier because the FDA doesn't have the same requirements to get it into the market. However, the government have higher requirements. Again, they're controlling the companies and they're saying, okay, this is a nutraceutical and I want this kind of label and I want this kind of pricing of it. Let's say it's supposed to cost $10, they will shift it to cost $60 and $70. Next slide. So I know this slide is very long, but because I don't have a panel, which is fantastic, because you guys are here, I know you have lots to say. So you too. So if you don't mind, Mr. Moderator, again, I know it's a very big slide, but I would like to engage, and again, if the audience won't mind, I would like to engage them with what they think while I'm talking as well, especially about the nutraceutical product. So if you have any questions and any ideas and opinions, you obviously you can speak your minds. Yes, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Okay, yes.
Okay, so how does the government, do they have like a set pricing, or how do they come up with what the consumer is supposed to pay?
For the nutraceutical or
For
pharmaceutical?
nutraceuticals.
Nutraceutical, actually they don't. They don't have a set pricing because the way with the nutraceutical, it's different with the pharmaceutical. The nutraceuticals are developed every year. Pharmaceuticals are developed once in 5 years, one in 7 years, then you have the generic, and then they're changing. It's the same product, but the name is different. Nutraceuticals are changing every year, every half a year, because it takes only 1 to 2 years to get it into the market. So the moment they see a product, they say, oh, let's say Flora, okay? Flora, it's for our intestine, it's bifidus molecules that are helping our natural flora. So if you look at Flora, they have several compounds of Flora. So Flora costs like 14 tablets cost like $60 in Canada, which is a lot of money. 14 tablets, and you need to take it every day. When Flora came out to the market, the company that made Flora, they wanted to make it for $25. And then comes the federal government and said, no, we don't want it of $25. We need to give it to $60 because everybody will buy it. And of course, we're stupid, we buy it, so we use it. We need it, but we do need it. So, and we spend this money. So when they see a potential of a product that will go fast, they will rise up the price.
Can we grade these day-to-day usable items like rice into these nutraceuticals?
Excuse me?
Because I heard like golden rice is a nutraceutical from our study. Golden rice, have you heard, madam? Rice.
Lice? So,
RIC, golden
Oh.
rice.
Oh, rice?
Been graded as nutraceuticals. It's a day-to-day item now. We are using it.
You're using it here?
Day-to-day, right? Day-to-day life, we are using it. It's a food item, but
And-
it's graded into nutraceutical.
Okay.
How will it be graded?
And well, it depends because, again, you're talking about which kind of product and what the label of the product will be. Will it help the stomach? Will it help the intestine? Or will it help our skin problems? So if the products will relate to our intestine, it will be nutraceutical and the price will be very high. If it's going to relate to our skin, they will actually reduce the price just because there are so many skin products out there and a lot of competition. With the intestine and the stomach, we don't have a lot of products out there for the GIT, so the price will be higher, but it will be a nutraceutical product. And do you have it here in India?
No, the research is going on and the product is also there, the market. It has some 44 micrograms of vitamin A.
Okay.
Vitamin A.
Vitamin A.
Yeah. The rice which contains that vitamin A. is called
So
as
it will be
golden
more,
rice.
so vitamin A will be more for skin problems as well then,
Possibly. Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
vitamin A for eyes and acne, for example, some problems with wounds as well. The only problem with vitamin A in Canada it's not a problem. We don't have so much sun. So they will say, hey, take it and you don't have to be sensitive. But usually derivatives of vitamin A are, people that are taking it, they need to have precaution of the sun. So, and because of these precautions, sometimes the government will reduce a little bit the price because of that. Again, in Canada, it doesn't matter. We don't have much sun. So again, if it's going to be for intestine problems, they will increase the price even if there is precautions for sun. Stomach. Yeah.
Dietary supplements should be controlled because people, especially these women who diet, tend to think that they needn't eat regular food at all. They can just resort to dietary supplements in place of regular foods.
Of course, I do think it should be controlled because, like I said, people thinking that natural products, it's wonderful, it's natural,
Yeah.
but it's not 100%
No, but
natural.
many women of today, they think that they can do away with eating regular food and just depending